Okay, so this is another video looking at the dashboards and specifically looking at the network summary dashboard. We may go over to the troubleshooting dashboard in this case, but this is a little worked example. Over at Jupiter High School, they've been doing some testing in the gymnasium. They've had, I think it's something like 250 laptops being used in there, and I think it was for the FSA testing. And they have 6 access points in there. So I think it's worth trying to do a little bit of analysis of what was going on and to look at that in the dashboard. So we know the activity that was going on and we can look at how that looks on the dashboard. So I know there was testing going on yesterday between 6 in the morning and 10 in the morning. So what I've done is I've set a custom window. So yesterday was the 18th, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I've picked the first floor of Jupiter High School Building 10. And you will see that we've actually don't have any data available for the access point, the data passed, and the unique Wi-Fi clients over time, because presumably we don't store, that data beyond probably a 24-hour time window or something like that. But what we do have, and what I was particularly interested in, was we have some airtime graphs. And it's just interesting to look at these airtime graphs in the context of what we know was going on, and also to look at some of our AeroHive devices by errors graphs and our channel utilization. So we can see that we have a number of access points which have 8D03 as the first part of the access point name. They're all part of the initial set of 4 that were deployed. And we can see that we're seeing a lot of airtime utilization on them. These are fairly high levels considering that they're over a 4-hour period. So we're seeing something close to 10% utilization on 3 of them effectively. And all of them are showing levels beyond 2.5 up to 5. So those are significant airtime figures. You'll notice that the great majority of the clients were connecting at the 5 gigahertz band, on the 5 gigahertz band, because they are dual band clients, although we still are seeing some airtime utilization on the 2.4 bands. If we go over and look at top 10 AirHive devices by errors, because we've got a lot of traffic, what inevitably is going to happen is that 2 devices will simultaneously attempt to take control of the channel and to transmit information. And when that happens, both of the clients will have to resend their data, and that manifests itself as a retry. If we look here, we can see that we actually have 6% retry on the 5 gigahertz for 8D0380, which is one of our high airtime access points. What's interesting is the one that had the most airtime utilization, which was 8D0300, has relatively modest levels of retry. And the one that seems to have the correlation of high retry rates and high airtime utilization is 8D03C0, which was pretty high on both of them. So if we want to look at the actual levels of bandwidth usage, we can see that we were talking about having 60 megabits per second at around 7 a.m. And that gradually tapered off over the course of testing, which probably went on till about 9 or 9:30. A lot of that potentially was actually Windows updates that were going over the link, but still these are relatively high levels, which correlate to relatively high airtime utilization levels, and we see corresponding high levels of retries. The only thing that catches me a little bit by surprise is the fact that we've got higher levels of retry on the 2.4 than we do on the 5 gigahertz, even though I expect that there was a lot more data transmitted over the 5 gigahertz. I guess that just plays into the fact that the 5 gigahertz channels are generally superior. If we were to go over to look at the troubleshooting graphs, which are some of the same graphs, maybe with a little bit of difference, and we're going to have to make sure that we're still looking at Jupiter High School. This is one of the little gotchas. Jupiter High School, Building 10, first floor. And we're going to have to customize our window again. So it was from 6 on the 18th to 10 on the 18th. So again, we've got the same airtime utilization graph. We got the same errors graphs. Now, something that's a little bit strange here is we've got this top 10 air high devices by errors. And so, for example, we'll see that 8D0380 was showing a lot of retries on the 2.4. Now, if we, and that was 2.4 transmit retries, if we go over here, all of a sudden we're seeing 2F6840, which doesn't even appear on this one, suddenly appearing on this one as top 10 by retries. So this is kind of showing us that sometimes there's a little bit of inconsistency here. And we're also seeing that, no, actually that's fair enough. But here we've rather than the potential for transmit and receive retries and drops, this is only showing us retries, although we weren't seeing any CRCs or drops. So essentially, we are seeing the same thing, very similar thing over on the troubleshooting, just perhaps in a little bit more detail. Okay, so I think that will do for this video.